Hey guys, it's Dennis with Grass Monkey Lawn Care here. I want to make a video about the best decision I've made in my business since I've started it. Now, for those of you who don't know, I started this business. Last year was our first full year in business. This is our second year, so we're about halfway through this season. This is our second year of business. I am full-time in my business. Last year I didn't get to go full-time really till about late June, just due to the fact of trying to build up the business, get some clientele rolling, and get it to the point where I could actually support myself with the business at that point. So I just want to throw that out there just kind of before I start talking about this. That way you guys kind of understand where I'm at in my business and how long I've been doing it. So we're full-time this year. So the best decision I made in my business was letting go of over 35 clients from my first year in business, just telling them I'm sorry, I can't service you anymore. And the reason why I did that is because your first year in business, you are taking on as much as you can. Doesn't matter where it's at. You're just trying to get your name out. You're trying to, just pick up work, whatever you can do to get, business coming in. And so I made that, I would call it a mistake now, but, in the moment you're thinking, well, I got to have more customers. But I mean, I spread myself thin. I mean, I was all over the place. My route density was a joke. There wasn't really even any route density in any of my clients. I mean, I was driving from here to way over here to way over here. I mean, it was just crazy how much I was driving. I was losing so much money by driving around that I could have probably did 4 more yards a day if I would just eliminated all that driving. So this winter, because last year we got our client list built up to about 55 to 56 customers. So this winter I sat down and thought long and hard about how can I improve my business? What can make this better and make me more money? And so I was like, boom, I'll pull up my client list and let's go through this and let's see what the meat and potatoes are of this and let's see what we can get rid of. So that's how I came up with the 35 I selected. And now how I selected those is I looked at ones that were weren't not in areas I wanted to be in anymore, or if they were biweekly accounts, or if I had any 10 days on the schedule last year, I eliminated all of those because we no longer do 10-day cuts. It's either you get cut weekly or biweekly. There's no more 10 days in my business. I eliminated that totally. They have to pick either the weekly or the biweekly. There's no in between. The second reason why I did it was I'm trying to focus staying on one area of town. In my town, I live on the west side, and that's where I like to keep my business at. So like last year, I was on the east side, south side, and north side, and the west side. So I went ahead and eliminated the north side of town and the south side of town completely. Like if someone calls me, I said, no, okay, I'm not working in that area this year. I'll sure be able to pass you along to somebody else if you would like to, and I give them another number to another company. And I just chose to keep the east side. The reason being was I already had 2 large properties I was doing, so I thought, well, if I'm going to go anywhere outside of the west side of town, it's going to be the east side. And also because there's a lot of money on that side of town. There's a lot of money on that side in certain areas that you want to try and go after. So that's another reason why. Just knocking out areas of town you don't want to be in at all. Just got rid of it totally. So and it was scary, I'm not gonna lie. So when I started this season, I mean, I was sweating. I mean, I basically went down to about 18 accounts. Now a lot of people will say you're crazy because you just let go of all those clients. It depends on how you look at it though. I mean, because from my point of view, compared to what I was doing last year, I have almost the same amount of clients this year. I think we're sitting, I'd have to do a count, but I mean, just rough estimate, close to 60 this year. So, I mean, I'm only about a couple more than last year, but I'll just tell you this, okay, so last year, my average mowing, I'm not going to give you the exact dollar amount. Let's just say I'm doing about 1,500 to 2,000 more a month in mowing with just basically 4 more accounts, on the list. And like I said, I mean, the reason why this is the best decision I made in my business is because, you got to let go of the dead weight in order to build your business, So with that being my first year in business, there was a lot of baggage in my business that, just didn't make sense. And then you got to really take a look at it and eliminate all that. And by doing that, like I said, I mean, I increased my revenue hugely. Just for instance, so like there's certain days where I just work in 3 neighborhoods. All my yards are in those neighborhoods. I just drive from this HOA, I do X amount of yards here, I'll drive to this HOA, do X amount of yards here. And I can do, on some days if they're like that, 13 to 15 by myself a day. And I'm not talking about like your small yards, guys. I mean, some of these yards are bigger. They got a lot of crap in the yard, like play sets, trampolines, trees, landscaping, etc. I mean, you guys know the drill. Or you get the ones that are HOAs where they have a backyard and you have to go do the outside of that backyard. It goes up to like the private fishing pond that they're responsible for too. So I mean, I'm not talking about when I say like I'm doing 15 a day, like I'm doing like your, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet yards. I mean, these are more like 5,000 square feet yards or bigger. So, I mean, route density is, hugely improved for me this year. Like I said, I mean, I've only gained about 4 customers from last year's total, but they're better paying yards. Last year was a joke. Like last year I had, it was like 60, 70% were bi-weeklies and the rest were weeklies, and I had some 10 days. This year is the exact opposite. 70% are weeklies and about 35% are bi-weeklies. I did keep one 10-day account, just one. The reason being, no matter what day it is, I'm working in that area anyways. So no matter what day it falls on, I can still take care of it. But I mean, it's helped me so dramatically, as far as increasing the revenue, making me more money. I'm able to do more in a day. I mean, my daily average last year, it was like 280. This year, my daily average is like 360. So, I mean, and all that is because I'm not driving all over the place. The first time I have to drive in a day is when I go out to the other side of town out east. And I mean, even then, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, that's actually my biggest day is when I go out east. Is my biggest money making day. And when I go out east, I mean, I'm averaging about 550 to 600 depending on what bi-weeklies fall in that week. When I'm out east. So, I mean, I make it pay, and I make it pay big when I'm out there. I'm very selective when I go out there on what I'm taking on. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, and you just don't take it. I mean, you can't say yes to everybody, in order to, just because you want to see your customer count go out doesn't mean anything. You could have 1 million customers, but if you're not making money with those 1 million customers, why have the 1 million? I'd rather have, like I said, I mean, where I'm at, close to 60, would I rather have 100 accounts that are crappy or are going to dry up or are in areas I don't want to be in? Or I'd rather have my 60, stay comfortable, make plenty of money, and be comfortable with it. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to grow the business, don't get me wrong, but, you got to think about it. I mean, you got to take steps. So, like, I'm basically close to what I was last year, and I'm making basically $1,500 more a month in mowing. So the next progression would be to up the customer count 20 more, but also when you up that 20 more, you want to increase the revenue dramatically with that 20. So you take on yards that are weekly, that are well maintained. There's extra side work involved in those jobs. And you're going to have them all year. They're not going to get burned out. And they're the areas that you want to be in. You want to see your truck being noticed in because there's going to be other big fish in those neighborhoods. Some of these HOAs, I mean, the average home is anywhere from $350,000 up to $750,000, $800,000 homes. So, I mean, that's where you want to be. That's, like I said, I mean, that made such a big difference last year for me working in, areas where the average house, was costing like $100,000. I'm working in $500,000 homes in those areas now. So, I mean, those people want a good job done and they'll pay you for it. Like, they don't have a problem paying you any X amount of dollars you tell them. If you walk up and say, that's a $75 yard, that's a $60 yard, okay, when can you do it? There's no questions. They pay on time. There's no worries about being paid. They always call you for extra stuff. Like, I mean, I'm just in side work on some of these bigger houses, like just doing the shrubs. I mean, these people don't play around. They landscape. I mean, they're doing, 7 landscape beds on their property, and in that they have all kinds of shrubs because they're required by their HOA to have X amount of shrubs and trees in their property. So, I mean, I just thought I'd go over a little bit. I know this is kind of getting long, but why this was the best decision in my business, letting go in order to grow. Sometimes you got to do it. You got to evaluate your business, see where you're at, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and say, I don't need all that. Let's start over. And that's basically what I did. As I hit the restart button, kept a minimal amount of yards, and just blew it back up again. So this year what I'll do is I'll reevaluate my customer list. I'm not going to drop off that many this year. There'll probably be 10 to 12 that'll go. And I'll hopefully, like I said, grow it back up to, let's say, 85, 90 next year. But you got to be selective. You got to, understand what your business is about, what you're about, and where you want to go. So just thought I'd pass it along. I mean, I know this video is kind of bouncing around from here to here, but that's just kind of how I am, get on a topic and I kind of just go from here to here to here, and I apologize, guys, but that's just kind of how my crazy mind works sometimes, but just thought I'd share that, what worked in my business, following from my first year in business, kind of being almost full time to allow me to go completely full time this year into my business. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. I just want to share my ideas, how I did it, and what I'm doing to, further my business. So if you guys are new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. Any new subscribers that have came on, thank you so much. If you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up. As always, guys, I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Stay tuned for more coming up, and you all have a great night.